Hi guys and welcome to Dial It Up, and finally back into regular schedule and back into my nice backdrop here to see my Superman. Does my Superman show up as Bizarro in this camera or not? I don't know, I had a camera where my Superman became Bizarro instead. So today I want to talk about something that's actually becoming more and more common with the advent of superpowers and special powers and stuff like that. And that is powers being granted through adjacency. Now there are a lot of characters that do this now. There are some relics, special things that do this. A very good example of this is the new Age of Ultron OP ID card for the Hulk, whose inspiration is that can use charge and get +1 to attack. This game is very dependent on, it's very time sensitive. So everything that happens in this game happens in a very specific sequence. So once you know how those sequences work and when certain things activate along that sequence, then you can find out when powers through adjacency activate. Now, a good example for this is the AVX Black Panther or any number of the Hal Jordans from More of Light, and they all give adjacent characters can use willpower. Now, willpower is a power that doesn't activate until the very end of the action when you're placing an action token, and then you can ignore pushing damage. If you are no longer adjacent to this character when you're doing that, you're not going to have that power. For a power like willpower, you need to be adjacent to the person when you're being given that action token, which is when in the sequence that willpower activates. So that is when that adjacency power activates. Whereas something like the Hulk ID card, you can use charge. Okay, great. So when you're adjacent, you start your action there, you activate charge, and you can go. But the second half of that ID card is that you get +1 attack. Now the attack isn't calculated until you're actually doing your attack, which would mean if you were to charge, move away from the character that's giving you that inspiration, then as long as you're not using it from the round table, then you'd be trying to calculate your +1 attack, but you're no longer adjacent to the person. So a lot of these can be confusing where they don't really explain this part. It's something that has come up as you go along through the WES, as people have been asking questions about these, is the best way to go through these ones when you're granting powers from adjacency, whether it's giving you super senses, a modifier, a power, as long as you know when or where that power is activated along in the sequence of actions in Heroclix, then you can figure out when you need to be adjacent, whether it needs to be at the beginning of the action, in the middle of the action, or at the end of the action. So that was powers through adjacency, and if you have any comments, questions, concerns, leave them down below, and we'll see you next time for another episode of Dial It Up.
Made with Clix is brought to you by Adjacency Heroclix Sales down in Costa Mesa, California. Right now, they're in the middle of a storefront change. In the meantime, don't forget to check out their eBay store. If you check the link down below, they always have great Heroclix stuff at fantastic prices, and they'll ship just about anywhere.